Yeah, I've been filming weddings now since I usually say 2016, even though that's kind of not true because I had done some weddings beforehand. I'm going as far back as 2013 actually. Was like the first time I did a wedding. I did one in 2015, I believe, as well. I have to actually look back because I have saved all the weddings I've ever done. So I do have all the footage always. I actually got a message today from someone who was asking me if I still had one of their highlight tapes because for some reason it was taken down off of Vimeo for a very extremely strange reason that I don't even think I can say the word on YouTube. Otherwise, that might cause this video itself to be taken down. So, Uh, but yeah, it was taken down off of Vimeo where I used to upload some highlight tapes. So I re-uploaded it to my new page on Facebook. But yeah, okay, I do see a wedding on here in my files. It's from 2015. So did one in 2015, but then continued to do a bunch in 2016. And then been doing it pretty much every year since, except for 2020. Nothing really happened in 2020 for obvious reasons. But business started to pick up again this year, and started to do a lot of weddings for people I don't know. Usually I did weddings for people I know, and it's common that the reason I started was because people kind of knew I had a thing for film, and then after they saw some of the highlight tapes, it's kind of grown from there. But it's still been mostly people that I know. But this year, there's been a few more that have been people I've never met before, which is always exciting. It's challenged me because I don't know if I'm the greatest at throwing myself out there. I don't really think I'm like bad at talking to people, but I'm not really the best at being like, yes, I'm gonna throw my name out there, throw my business out there, reach out and contact people, and I've never been very good at that. I'm very I'm good with the people that I know and kind of making the bridges from the people that I know to the people they know, which has been the extent of my work so far. But now I'm starting to do ones that I'm like, well, I don't know nothing about these people. But it makes things more interesting and sometimes less stressful because there's something about the fact that if I don't know them, there's not as much stress on me for some reason. Maybe I'm not as worried about some of the critique I'll get, or like I feel like I need to, because when it's someone it's like, oh, I really don't want to let them down. Um, but then if it's someone I don't know, I'm not as worried about that, but then they probably get a better product in the end because I'm not as stressed. So it's kind of all backwards. But yeah, I've been doing it since 2013. I did a wedding in 2013 because they knew I was very into film. So they just figured, hey, if you like doing that, maybe you want to do our wedding. It was just, it was done for a cousin of mine. And at that time, I didn't do any highlight tapes. I just filmed it, put on a DVD with DVD Architect, which is an old software kind of at this point. And DVDs are kind of old at this point, but I still give them out. But now I've started to do USB drives. And even for people who have done their weddings previously, I've thought about maybe reaching out and just sending out USB drives of their footage because I'm like, honestly, it's not worth really using a DVD anymore, especially since the quality on the DVD is not as good. I thought about maybe switching to Blu-ray at one point, but it's like, I don't even know if enough people caught up with getting Blu-ray players. At this point, it's probably better to just do a USB drive or even to just, I don't know, upload things onto YouTube so they could have a link to view, like an unlisted video possibly, but or some kind of like cloud drive or something like that. But thing is, like, things are always going to change. Like in 20 years, even everything might have changed. So like the one thing I can do is hold on to the footage for everyone. But I did the one wedding in 2013, another one in 2015, and 2016 when I was asked to do it, someone actually made the suggestion. They were very specific about what they wanted. They were like, I want it filmed, I want all the footage, but I also want there to be a highlight tape on Facebook, and I'll pay you this much. And at the time, it was like, wow, you're gonna pay me that much to do this? Of course I'll do it. But I had never done anything like a highlight tape before, and I had never really seen it for weddings. And it's kind of weird because in 2016 even, um, it didn't seem like it was that common to see that. So I see these highlight tapes way more now, but back in 2016, I didn't see it so commonly, especially for local stuff. Maybe for very expensive weddings, in like bigger areas, but in this area, no, I never saw a highlight tape. So when I did it, it was like big deal. A lot of people really dug it, and from there, a lot of people reached out to me to do their other weddings. So 2016 was a very busy year where I was just doing all kinds of different weddings, and it kind of grew from there. People saw the highlight tapes, they would ask me. I always shared them on Vimeo because that was the best way I knew how to do it at the time, especially since I'm pretty quick with it. Like, my whole model for all of this is like, look, I just kind of want to give you what you want, which is you want to use this specific song, like the song you dance to for your wedding song, you want that to be in a video. And even though it's like it's copyrighted music, it's like I'm not making money off of posting the highlight. Like, I don't make money off the highlight tapes. I make money for filming the wedding, but I do not make money for like posting on Facebook or on Vimeo or YouTube or anything like that and getting money from the ad revenue. And I wouldn't be allowed to anyway. But that's why I always figured, well, I could just use the copyrighted music because, like, whatever, I'm not profiting off of that, like, at all, which seems to be where the reasoning for copyright, where it comes from. So I would always just post them on Vimeo because it seemed like the safest way to do it. Obviously not, because like this year, I guess one of them was taken down and I didn't even know, and Vimeo did not notify me about that. But at a certain point, Vimeo actually ran out of room. You could pay for like a pro membership, but honestly, when I realized that you could only upload so much to Vimeo, I never knew this. I started uploading them to Facebook, just my personal Facebook page. And that was fine enough. I make them shareable so everyone can, see them and share it to their own pages. But now I actually do have a specific Facebook page, and I'm going to start migrating all the old videos to that channel, or to that Facebook page, and eventually get all the Vimeo ones on there as well. And maybe just, I don't know what I'll do with the Vimeo ones. Maybe just leave them there because I don't really use Vimeo for anything at this point. But yeah, so like since then, still been doing the DVDs, but this year is when I've started doing the USB drives more, because I'm like, I'll still give the DVDs out. I know some people still use DVDs kinda, but the USB drive might be an easier way to do it, especially since a lot of TVs just have USB capability. You can put it right into your TV. And I have the new camera, which is really nice. So big improvement over the previous camera. I could always make the most out of that quality, but this new camera especially like makes the wedding ceremonies pop a lot more than that other camera. Like I impress myself when I see some of the footage. And I don't know what's in the future. I mean, in the future it'd be kind of cool to get like a 2-camera setup. Maybe throw some drone footage in there, just have some fun with it, do all kinds of different things. But, at the moment, what it's all really about, because there's been people that come up to me and they're like, well, why, is this your full-time job? Why is it not? Do you want to make it your full-time job? And, honestly, what it is that, one, I like having it at the price that I do because, like I said, it's like less stress on me, and it lets me deal with people that I know, and also, the types of weddings that I like to do. The second you start, because a lot of times people kind of get me last second. Like, a lot of people don't think about video. And yeah, I could throw my name out there and really promote it, but still, I'm probably going to get people that are last second, and I'm used to that. Even the wedding I'm doing this weekend, actually, I only got a month ago. The last wedding I did was only a month before that. So it's like a lot of this is last second. Like, people weren't really thinking about doing a video, and a lot of people don't think about it. They just think, I have my photos, I have everything like that. But once they see the highlight tapes, and then they realize they actually get all the footage with it, and I do it like an old home video style. Like, I don't decide like, okay, we're going to do major cuts here, major cuts there, just for time, because I'm not trying to make their video, their overall, home video of the entire day under like an hour and a half, as if I'm some like movie executive that's trying to fit into some kind of movie theater schedule. Like, no, it's always like around 2 to 3 hours of footage, and I just let everything roll, because it's like, I don't know what the couple exactly wants to see, but in 20 years they might appreciate seeing some of these family members, some of these people in the background, some of these other things that are going on. And what I find entertaining, they may not find entertaining, but vice versa. So it's like, I just leave everything in there, because I always tell them, I'm like, I leave so much footage in there, but it's because there's so much for you both to look at then. And the great thing is you can fast forward. So, if it's there, you could just fast forward through it. But I'm not making a movie. Like, this isn't like a movie style production. The thing is if I started doing stuff like that, which I'm not even really, I've always appreciated home videos more than like, uh, watching somebody turn their like life experience or a day in their life like turned into a movie. Like, I've seen where they've turned like weddings into like movies, and I've never been there's something very superficial about it. But I know some people like that, and that's like great. And if you like that, I let people know, like, you should find something like that, because like I don't like doing that. It's just not my style. Some people are looking for a home video, but something that they can also share online, and that's what I offer. I offer the highlight tape that is more like a movie, like a short film, like a little movie, but everything else is like a home video where it's just like played in long form. You get to dig through what you want to dig through. I'm not gonna. I mean, there's some people where they like film the ceremony and they like are narrating things. Yeah, it's that crazy. But those guys cost a lot of money. And that's the one thing about me, is like I don't cost a lot of money. But that's also why I can't really turn this into like a full-time gig. But at the same time, it's like I could start charging more by doing more and trying to make it my full-time gig. But one, I wouldn't be dealing with the same kind of people anymore, because if you start upping your prices, you start dealing with a different different types of weddings with much higher budgets that like can throw a ton of money at just a videographer, which is often an afterthought for like a lot of other weddings. um so it's like, if they're paying like a videographer this much, imagine how much they're paying like a photographer, like really going wild with it. But then they expect more, and there's kind of like a higher expectation, but also like maybe more than likely they're being a little more picky, they're a little more specific about what they want to oversee it a lot more. And then maybe they do want something to be more like a actual Hollywood movie. Maybe they are hoping for more like fancy transitions and narrations and things like that, and maybe there's a higher chance they'll be disappointed. I don't know. But it's like a business I've heard a lot about from the photographers end, who I usually end up dealing with. I always let the photographers know, I'm like, you can get in my way if you want. Like, I'm recording. This is rolling footage. You only get like one chance at the photo. So I always say, like, the photographers kind of you know, have preference over me. Plus, they're usually paying the photographers more, and usually the couples care about the photographer a lot more than me, because it's like I'm there to just record everything like a home video, but the photographers are there to be like, get these perfect shots. So I'm always kind of there in the background, and I just imagine if it like I amped up the game, it would put more pressure on me. But like at the end of the day, it's like I could do all that, really intensify the work, but at the end of the day, it's like, is that really what I want to do? And it's like I love doing this, but I love doing it for people I know, and even the people I don't know. Like I said, I do like doing these more local weddings, and when I meet new people, it's the kind of people that I relate to, because they kind of come from the same world as the people from my hometown, which has been the majority of the weddings that I filmed. And that's what I like doing. I don't know if I could ever jump it up more than that and try to make it a full-time gig, and then try to charge more. And then, at that point, maybe even have to add employees for like 2 cameras. Because I want to do a 2 camera setup, but basically I want to put like a camera on the tripod so I could sit in the back during the ceremony, so I can have some of that footage to cut to for the ceremony, pretty much. Because the ceremony is like the only time where I'm like, I really would maybe appreciate more angles here. But everything else, I'm like, I think it works fine to just play it in real time with 1 camera. But yeah, it's like, if I ever wanted to make this like the full thing that I do, it's like, at the end of the day, I usually just let people know, I'm like, as far as like video production, movie making, and everything like that, which I'm not saying that these are movies, I'm just saying like film production, stuff like that, that this isn't exactly what I want to do with it. Like, I want to do other things. But sometimes people fall into something like this, and then maybe that should be the thing they do. Maybe I should turn this into a thing. But yeah, I probably sound pretty like wishy-washy about the whole thing, but basically right now I like how it's going right now. I like I like the people I've worked with so far, and I like to keep it at that for now. But in the future, maybe try to jump things up. But if I jump anything up, I don't really want to be like going crazy with what I charge and trying to find, you know, like people who just have like expendable money. I mean, like people who are just looking to spend tons of money on a wedding because, you know, usually, you know, the more money I think that's spent, the more stressor is put on that. And it's like, no, I just want to give people exactly what I tell them I'm giving them, which is like, you know, it's a home video that you can trust the camera was on and it was filming. And, you know, because a lot of people, I think, just in the past would give it to a relative. And I'm like, I will be better than your relative. Plus, I will stay there the whole day and I won't get drunk at your wedding and then forget to film things. Like, no, I'm there. I'm taking it seriously. I'm filming the whole thing. You get a great highlight tape, all the footage afterwards. But it's been quite the gig. And I'm hoping, like every year, to keep improving it.